Sessions.
Ooh, I know that you. I know that. Ooh, I know that you. I know that. Ooh, I know that you. I know. Ooh, I know that you. I know that.
Sessions is made possible by Heroic Audio, our mixing and mastering division. Our engineers have mastered the releases that come out on Heroic, on Villain, but even on labels like Armada and Monster Cat. For free mixing advice, you could check out our website, or if you're a record label or artist releasing consistently, you should check out our mastering service on the site. We even have a subscription for reduced rates, so make sure to check that out.
Chase dreams, but my dreams are chasing me. Where did I lose the lead? Honestly, is it all on me? Is it all on me? I hit the concrete, was a bad fall indeed. I wanted to chase dreams, but my dreams are chasing me. Where did I lose the lead? Honestly, is it all on me? Like, is it all on me? I hit the concrete, it's seeming all so surreal. Yeah, decided won't fails, man. Society's fifth wheel. The yoke was scarred back and mad bars, but no cash to buy a meal. I'm sick of this interest, so they say it's in my interest. Financially, I've been dead, haven't seen something in undergrad. It's cause I'm lacking in a lag, cause I ain't hit a rag. They try to break me, but I stayed intact. Though I hate the fact, hate the fact.
The Heroic Sessions.
Everything surrounding me was turning pitch black. All of that negative content in my life, I wish I could erase that. But it's causing mayhem since way back. No matter how hard I climb from this great depth, I'm stuck in the mud of my wasteland. And my great depth acts as a pavement of separation between me and my aims. I'm at the gates, nearly making it, creating this. Let's go. So trust me, dude, I do wanna rhyme positive. Rap about my tabs I gave, but tell me what's the relevance of writing all those sentences, tackling thoughts within. I channelize this mighty wind, but it almost fantasizes. Now all this shifting in extra gear. So now that's all I will hear is so better days gone since yesterday. Don't procrastinate, longer start the game is the only way. The reason something new, tie up the laces of your shoes. Want to be the news, to be the views, or try to let the fuse be in control. You're squeezing the juice, you're in on a roll. No stupid excuse, too bad they weren't believing in you. Continue and prove, see how much you grew, how much you grew. Trust me, dude, I do wanna rhyme positive. Rap about my task, I give, but tell me what's the relevance of writing all those answers. Tackling thoughts within, I channelize this mighty wind, but it almost vanishes. All that's left of me is currently the all that you hear. Instead of bursting in tears, I stay away from my fears. I'm shifting in extra gear. So now that's all I will hear is.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 12th episode of Heroic Sessions. Today, I get to catch up with talented young upcomer soupandreas. Ethan, aka soupandreas, dropped his first single with us a few months back, titled Life Goes On, and just released his newest track, JSYK, or Just So You Know. Combining jazz with hard-hitting drops, soupandreas is definitely one to look out for. So, let's get this interview started. Hey Ethan, it's great to have you on this week, man. How is everything going?
It's good to be here, man. It's going pretty well. It's a busy time of year, you know, midterms, finals. But yeah, the holiday spirit is within all of us. So it's a good time to be here.
Definitely, man. Good time to make some good music as well, I suppose.
Definitely.
So, why don't we begin by you giving us a quick background on who you are and what you're doing?
All right. I'm a 17-year-old high school student in Northeast US, and in the IB program. I'm doing the full diploma, if you know what that is. And I've pursued music pretty much since I was a kid. Since I was really young. I started guitar when I was like 11, piano before that. I focused more on guitar lately. And then production's just always kind of been a thing that's been in like the back of my mind. It's always been something that I've gone to as like a hobby. And then pretty recently I started doing it more seriously. So for a few years, I think since the beginning of high school or so, I'm a senior now, I'm in my last year. And it's kind of coming into fruition with all of this stuff I'm doing to soupandreas. Mm-hmm. So it's really nice that I'm able to like get my stuff out there and have people listen to it and have people support it. I'm really thankful for everybody who enjoys the music that I make, and I'm just excited to see where I can take it in the future.
Definitely, man. So when was that moment when you decided, hey, I want to produce? You know, obviously you have more of a background in live instrumentation. So what led you to the production aspect?
Yeah, I went to a new school in freshman year, and I met a friend who also did production stuff. And it was the first time I'd actually met anybody in real life that I had actually like an acquaintance with that produced music as well. And so I started talking with him. I'd kind of fallen off the wagon with it as far as like practicing and doing it like as a daily process. And so I met him and started talking about it. I was like, hey, this is really cool. There's somebody else I can share like insights with and stuff like that, and share music and compare tunes and give each other criticism. And so we started doing that more regularly. And that got me sort of practicing my chops again. That's where I started learning more about mixing and sound design, synthesis, all that kind of stuff. And so that really just set me on the right track to developing my skills as a producer and as an artist as well.
Interesting. So which one of the two would you say you prefer the most? Like, do you prefer producing more? Do you prefer, playing piano or guitar more?
I'd say probably producing at this point. I have more practice into it. I should put more effort into my live music, but it's definitely, I would want to pursue that as like a live performance aspect, is drawing my piano and guitar stuff into my live performance in some way. But I'd say producing, I'm definitely more comfortable with at this point. I just enjoy it more, man. It's like you have such a wide palette of sounds when you're producing. It's a lot of there's so much potential to it, and with a piano and guitar, I guess you're a bit more limited, and that's what I like about producing, I think.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. So why did you choose, to start pursuing music? When did this whole love for music begin?
That was my parents' fault.
Uh-huh.
I can blame them for that 100%.
Okay.
I came up in a musical family. My parents were both musicians, and so I just started out always hearing music around. There's a video of me somewhere with like a guitar across my lap, just slapping it in rhythm. It sounded awful, but I was singing along, and I was just singing James Taylor or something, and yeah, it's just always been a part of my life, I guess. And then I started an instrument, and then I don't know, the rest was history.
Sure,
you know?
sure. So actually, I have a question in regards to your parents. In which part of the music industry are they involved in?
My mom's she's a drama teacher. She like directs shows she runs her own business where she like directs a show, she'll put it on, and the kids will perform like a musical theater thing.
Okay.
And my dad doesn't do any music stuff now, but they both actually used to be actors when they were younger.
Oh, okay.
That was how they met, actually. And so yeah, they've always had that in them. So I've done acting stuff as well, musical theater, you know.
Nice. So what do they think about this whole electronic music thing that you're doing right now?
Well, it's a new experience for them because it's not an art form that they've ever heard before, because it didn't really exist when they were around. It wasn't popular music the way it is now. So I've been sure to like keep them updated, and it's like I've exposed, especially my dad, to a lot of this electronic stuff. He's starting to like find his taste in it and what he likes in it, because I don't know, I'm just glad they're really supportive of what I do.
Yeah.
Like they're supportive of me taking some time off after high school before I go into college to maybe pursue soupandreas further. And it's just nice to have good support from my parents.
Definitely.
I guess the key there was opening up to them and telling them this is what I enjoy doing, and this is how you can support it. This is how you can really be behind me when I do it. It's just nice to have that support, because you know your parents are they're like with you through the end, and if you let them be there with you, then it's just nice, you know.
Certainly. When you were listening, when your parents sort of introduced you to the more classical stuff, like I don't know, the jazz, the blues, classic rock stuff, as you were saying, which artist really stood out to you? Who really influenced you?
Well, like a lot of people, my first electronic artist was Skrillex.
Of course.
Well, that was in the freshman year when I really started getting into production again. But before that, if I think back, I think my first real influences were like Moby when I was really young. That was even before I was like 6 years old. That's when I started listening to Moby. And then I remember one time I was on like a flight to Florida or something, and I put my headphones in the seat there. They have the XM radio. They have the XM radio in the seat, and so it was on the system. The system's like the trance channel, and so I just played that for the whole plane ride, and I was like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
It's like dance music, and I've never really heard it before, and it's so interesting, and there's like such a cool timbre to it. I probably didn't think about that in the moment. I was just like, this is cool music. And so, but yeah, it was a revelation for me. And so I tried to make trance for a few years, and that didn't sound very good, but it's okay.
Gotta start somewhere, man.
Yeah, definitely.
You said, so give us a bit more insight on, like your training in terms of music. So you said you used to play the guitar, or still do for that matter.
Yeah, I still do.
Piano. So give us the full scope there. Like, what else do you do?
Yeah, guitar's the current like instrumental focus. That's when I'm applying to some schools. When I do a performance audition, I'll do guitar. Piano's more of a hobby project at this point. I do enjoy it a lot. I just love. There's a much wider array of sounds than you can make with the piano than guitar, in my opinion at least. And I love. Piano's just so fun for composition. I honestly wish I'd stuck through with piano, but guitar is my main focus at this point, instrumentally. I also do singing. I do some acting when I have to. And then, yeah. I like trying to pick up new instruments. I have a saxophone sitting around somewhere.
Nice.
I need to get it repaired. It doesn't quite work. But I do want to try to learn it at some point. I had a drum kit at one point, learned that. new instruments are fun because it's just a new range of sounds that I can explore, and I
Definitely.
can maybe record it if I get a mic set up and work it into a song at some point. I don't know. I just like new sounds.
Sure. So, how do you feel, all that classical training and the live instrumentation is helping you and your production process for the current music that you're pushing?
Well, it's taught me theory and songwriting skills, first of all. Those are really important. Like, just skills of any songwriter, composer, any musician. Like, having a background in actual music is just it's so important for making music that translates well into production, in the production world. Because, I mean, when it comes right down to it, music is music. So
Sure.
if I'm combining jazz music with, like, hard drops, as you say, then if I have that basis in jazz, then it makes the hard drops not sound as, like, atonal and EDM-y. Like, I think the key to having less generic music is having a basis in, like, quote, real music. I don't want to say that, but
Sure.
yeah, just having a wide influence, I think, is what makes your compositions more interesting and just more fun to listen to.
Do you think it is sort of necessary to possess these skills, to be a good producer, or to get to, let's say, the top?
I think having that, like, spark, there's a certain, like, thing, I don't know, it's either like you got it or you don't. You have this spark that just drives you.
Sure.
There's nothing that can get you farther than just pure hard work. Like, if you can be a really good songwriter and composer, like, for a while there, I'd release, like, 2 songs a year. And that got me to, like, a level of respectability among my friends. And then that, I didn't get anywhere with that. I've realized now that you have to kind of, like, put aside the perfectionism and just make music, like, finished songs. Even if you don't think they're good, somebody probably will. So
No, totally, man. Like, I totally see your point. Like, better, produce and push out music instead of, working on one track, let's say, for like a year and a half, and then sort of, like, not do anything in the meantime. And you know what I mean? It's like you learn from the bad tracks.
It's better to just make some bad tracks and learn from the mistakes than it is to just make a few good tracks and do, like, 2 a year.
Certainly. Totally agree, man. So since we're on that topic, it's a good segue to my next question. Like, how do you go about producing your music, and what does that whole process look like for you?
I've been trying to figure out for years now what exactly my inspiration is, what gives me that spark to start songwriting. It's I'm pretty sure at this point that it's new sounds. Like, I can be inspired by some sort of interesting sound that I hear on the street or something. Like, I'll be, like, working or something where I don't really have anything else to entertain myself. I'll listen to the sound of somebody's voice or some, like, even just, like, the way, like, something interacts with its environment. I'll just hear it and I'll be like, I could record that, resample it, make it into, like, a pluck sound, or I don't know, and then it just all starts flowing from there. Which is why I'm glad I used to work on a desktop. I recently got a laptop. So on, like, vacations and stuff, I can bring the laptop and I'll hear something during the day, and it'll be just that much faster to get the idea down onto the DAW and just in motion record it down. Because, the inspiration, your spark of inspiration, it'll go away after a few hours or so if you forget about it. So
Sure.
having, like, the limitation of being tied down to, like, one location in the basement, it's nice because you have, like, it's more reliable and it won't get stolen or something. But it's like the laptop, I can just bring it everywhere and I can jot down my ideas and just have them recorded, and it just works.
Definitely, man. Definitely. What about, like, a portable recorder? Are you messing around with those yet?
I've tried before the method of, like, taking a voice memo on your phone, like an idea you hear, and I don't know. It works to an extent. It depends on, like, how distinct the sound is. A lot of the times it'll be, like, an instantaneous thing that just kind of sets off a spark in my brain, so I can't really put a microphone up to it and record it. Unless I've tried the thing where I, like, beatbox ideas into my phone, and then I play those back later on when I don't really have the inspiration for it. I'm like, man, that sounds really stupid. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually something I was gonna ask, man. Like that's something I have done, and I know a lot of people do. You know, even like a melody. You know, you're walking down the street, you grab your phone, and you just start humming a melody. Like, does that work for you? Has that worked for you?
It has worked for me before, actually, and there are just some times when it does work, and you just, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's such a mystery the way people's brains work with regards to inspiration and music. It's fascinating to me, and I'm trying to figure out how to get it to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
Make myself work more efficiently, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. Definitely. So in terms of the brand and the name soupandreas, what is the concept behind that, and what does it mean to you, and how did you come to that?
It's evolving every day, man.
Mm-hmm.
It started out a year ago. It was like future bass.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've been listening to a lot more like future beats, the modern stuff, selection. Less so of like the more relaxed things like Flying Lotus or Shlomo.
Mm-hmm.
More like harder hitting stuff. I've been big into Sam Gellatree and Mr. Carmack. I've also still like kept my roots in some of the future stuff. I love people who are also trying to do like the jazz crossover thing, like a lot of selection and Haywire on Monster Cat. I just love anything that really just has a harmonically interesting factor to it. One artist that I really like is Woolly Mammoth. He has a side project called Cast Music.
Yeah.
That side project is really good. But then even his stuff is Woolly Mammoth, which is like, it doesn't really reflect jazz in and of itself. It's just like trap music. But there's this innate musicality that you can't escape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's throughout all of his music. And that's actually my theory as to why Skrillex is so popular, is because he has this innate musicality that you can't get from there are a lot of producers that try to emulate his sound, but they just don't have the sense of rhythm. They don't have the sense of timing. There's no real way to describe it in that nobody else can sound quite like Skrillex does. And that's what I think, like, for example, this guy Woolly Mammoth has. And that's what I'm trying to have is you can have a hard-hitting sound that doesn't have fancy jazz chords all the time, but it'll reflect you. It'll reflect your inner sense of musicality because it's innately your music. So if you train that side of your brain, if you train that side of your musicianship, then it'll reflect in your music. So I guess that's my concept, is bringing out my background in like regular music through stuff that doesn't even sound like classical or jazz music. Stuff that sounds like electronic music, but having it translate over that barrier.
Right. That's super interesting, man. And in terms of like the branding itself, right, and like the visual aspect of it, you know, what sort of message, or what are you aiming for there?
If you ever look at my SoundCloud page, you'll notice that there's a lot of use of the alpha. That's always kind of been my logo. I don't know.
What does alpha mean to you?
Well, it was essentially just, I chose it because Andreas, Alpha, soupandreas. The A worked because it was, the same letter, basically. But I guess it's, if you want to dig up a deeper meaning, it could be like beginning or just a starting point. The artwork theory I have is actually a bit more focused than that, which on the page it all has like a constant theme, and most of the stuff is actually my own photography behind it, with the exception of like a few tracks I got from like Creative Commons licensed places. But yeah, most of it's actually my own photography in the background there. And so yeah, with that it's interesting because it's just, my idea is that the alpha, it's a cutout so that the alpha is the only part that like shows the photograph. And so I guess it's like a gateway into the mindset that I had during that track. It'll be like a snippet of my emotions at the time, or like my mindset, the feeling. Maybe if it all works out well, it can be like a snippet of the actual place where I heard the sound that inspired me for the track, or I don't know. It's all kind of a mood board for me as far as the art goes.
Sure, that's super interesting, man. And then the name, you used to be called just Andreas, right? That was the artist name, and now it's soupandreas. Like, so actually, let's start with Andreas, right? Like, why did you decide to, go with Andreas?
I went with Andreas because I thought soupandreas sounded dumb, But then I realized that it didn't really matter in the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's branding.
Sure.
Branding is branding, so.
True.
Yeah, soupandreas actually started as a typo.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I could say it was more interesting than that, but it's not.
Right. Okay. And then actually, also like the spelling of it, right? You keep it all lowercase. And obviously that's on purpose. Is there like an in-depth meaning behind that? Is that like sort
think it
of
looks
going
cool.
in line with your minimalism?
Yeah, I like minimalism, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really reflect in my music as much as it probably could, but I don't know. I just like, it's more aesthetically pleasing, I think, and I think it just looks good. There's no real way to describe it, I guess,
Fair
but
enough.
I think it looks nice.
All right. I like that, man. I like that. Very set. So, getting a bit personal now. What would you say is something people most likely do not know about you?
I don't have a pet.
You don't have a pet?
I do not have a pet. Most of my family's allergic to pets.
Interesting.
That's kind of boring.
Hey, it's something, man. It's something.
Yeah, I was in a musical recently, actually.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you've heard of it. It's Once on This Island. It's cool.
Which one?
Once on This Island. It was popular in the 90s. It's like a workshop-based ensemble thing.
Mm-hmm.
And my school put it on. And yeah,
Awesome.
it was fun.
And what was your role?
It's the god of death.
Snap.
Oh, snap. Yeah, exactly.
A lot of singing?
That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah, a good amount of singing.
Mhm.
A lot of group singing, a few solo things. It's something my parents were into mostly, and I got into it as a result. I don't know if I'll pursue it further, but it's a lot of fun, definitely.
Sure, man. Like, actually, in terms of musicals, like, what is your experience there? Like, do you think those add any value to what you're doing with production, or is it just a fun thing to do?
It's a fun thing to do. It's also helpful because my parents have experience with the arts business
Mhm.
in and of itself, especially just like where to take my music on a business end. Like they know what I'm going through with like artist management and like selling the product, that kind of thing, marketing. They like have insight on that kind of stuff. So that's helpful to have that like instant thing to turn to. Like it's not like your parents are like, I grew up in the banking world and I have no idea what music is.
Yeah.
It's not like that kind of thing. It's they like get what I'm doing and they can comprehend like the path I'm taking.
Mhm.
So that's definitely really, really nice to have.
Certainly, man. Certainly. I think that's like sort of, especially for young producers, man. Like, I think that's somewhat of a struggle for a lot of people. If pursuing career in music is a viable path, let's say, especially because a lot of people see music and this whole industry as like sort of a dead end.
Well, it's never a viable path. It's a fun path, but it's never viable.
Sure. I mean, I guess it depends on your situation, right? Like, I feel like if you work hard enough, and if this is really your true passion and calling, you'll put in the work and you'll get somewhere. Like, it's inevitable, I feel.
Yeah.
Whether that is being an artist or, being in the back scenes of running a label or whatever, really. I think it applies. That concept applies to music and to almost every other profession out there, right?
Yeah, it does.
Because if you're not passionate about, let's say, business or medicine, whatever, you're gonna fail.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think it's great that you have parents who understand and are supportive of that. That's a big plus, I think.
It's great, yeah.
This next question can be a bit tricky. You don't want to sound too narcissistic.
Yeah.
So what do you feel sets you apart as a producer? Like what is that, extra thing that you do?
Well, that's not really something that I get to decide.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I can make what I enjoy listening to stuff that I enjoy making, stuff that I can finish. Yeah, stuff that I can finish, I guess, but mostly stuff that I enjoy making and listening to, stuff that sounds like me. And if it sounds like something I would make, then I think, hopefully, I'm hoping that that's enough that sets me apart. It'll sound unique. The goal is to not sound like everybody else. It doesn't have to be drastic. I don't have to be completely like wacko out there just making ridiculous stuff that nobody's ever heard, because then it won't have any appeal. But I think if I try to stick to like my influences, which are, if I stick to like influences from like more popular styles, like stuff that people will enjoy, and I just draw in a bunch of different sounds, then I'll combine them in a way that's uniquely mine, because I mean nobody has the same tastes. So I think if I just focus on trying to make something that sounds like me, sounds like something I'd enjoy, then that'll be enough to make it uniquely mine. That's my hope, at least. I mean, hopefully people see my music as interesting, unique. That's always been my goal, is having stuff that is uniquely mine.
Well, when you're producing, are you consciously, let's say, I don't know, is there anything that you're consciously doing, even if it's like a production technique or like, you know, any specific like, you know, melody or motif in your music that, you know, you strive for, which you're like, okay, this is like how people are going to recognize me, and this is what's going to be like the soupandreas differentiator / sound?
I don't have like a call out. It's not like a DJ Khaled thing. DJ Khaled. I should start doing that. Like soupandreas. That'd be great.
Yes.
I like using a lot of percussion sounds. Not even like subtle stuff in the background, just like as the main focus. I like just throwing them up front there with a lot of stuff. It started to become more and more of my like signature thing, which could be a bad thing, but I don't know. I mean, it works. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's a signature thing, I guess. I don't want to abuse it too much, but it's something that I keep coming back to. So I guess I'll just keep doing it more. Some of the stuff I'm working on,
Boo.
Hint, hint, may feature that a bit more. So, yeah. As far as composition techniques go, I tend to veer a lot more towards the not standard and harmonic, or wrong word. As far as composition techniques go, I tend to lean towards the less diatonic, more towards cool stuff that sounds strange. Like in Life Goes On, there's a lot of like major substitution stuff, or in Just So You Know, especially, there's major substitution. Mm-hmm. I really enjoy it, just like because it sounds different.
Sure.
It doesn't sound like normal, because you'd kind of expect that out of like a pop song. You'd have like a standard like 1, 6, 4, 5, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, that's kind of boring. Yeah. But then with like my stuff, I try to incorporate, it changed to like a major chord there. Whoa, that's weird. Why did he do that? Why is this so weird?
Why is soupandreas so weird, man?
Why am I so weird? I don't know.
How about seventh chords? Like, obviously that's like, you know, jazz heaven, I suppose.
Definitely.
Do you go hard on those?
Hard on the seventh chords, man. Definitely. It's it gives, I just throw intentions in wherever it is. I like forming sort of chord melodies within the progressions, having like a sustained like ostinato note, but then as the progression changes, that's kind of a pretty EDM-y thing that I enjoy experimenting with within the context of jazz music. It's a lot of fun.
Sure.
There's a wide range of sounds that you can still make while being tied down to a synthesizer, and it's a fun world to experiment with.
For sure. Actually, question in regards to, you know, the newest single, Just So You Know, JSYK. Yeah. You got a nice little piano solo in there, and actually I think in a lot of your songs you have nice little jazz riffs. Are those played live by you, or is that MIDI written out?
Just the one on Just So You Know was, I think I edited it a bit because I messed up a few times, but I played it in.
Nice.
But I mean, I'm not a concert pianist quite yet, but I had the idea and I played it out, and so it was like, oh, that's almost there, so I'll keep it and just edit it a bit. I'd like to say that I was able to play that live, but I'm not.
Sure. So actually, that's a good segue to my next question. In terms of production rig, what does that look like?
At the moment, I get a laptop and my ATH M50s. There's like lots of other producers out there. I'm with you on there, but once I get my stuff working again, I have to get adapters and stuff. I have two Tannoy Reveal 501A monitors, which have been my go-tos for the past few years. I have to set those up, and I was using an older iMac before. Now I got a nice new fancy laptop.
A Mac.
And yeah, a Mac laptop, definitely. I use Reason 8 at the moment.
Nice. Shout outs to Reason and Mac.
Shout out Reason Mac.
And before that, it was essentially the same rig, right? Reason has been your home base.
Reason's been my thing. I tried to switch to Ableton. I tried to switch to Logic. I have not tried to switch to FL because it's not on Mac, or not natively. It hasn't been, but I just keep coming back to Reason. There's something about the way the creative flow works.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care that there's no VSTs because the built-ins are just fantastic. It just works. So it just flows so well for me. I don't know how to describe it exactly. It's great. I love it.
Sure. Actually, within Reason, what is your favorite synth?
My go-to is Thor. Thor is my rock. Subtractor sometimes Subtractor has some cool stuff. As far as like noise generation and weird ring mod things. Maelstrom is cool for making really out there sounds, especially if you resample and distort them a bunch. I end up using audio a lot with audio samples and like AMing them or just like ring modding them with other stuff, distorting things. Scream 4 is amazing. I love Scream 4 so much.
Oh yeah, Scream is a babe.
What else is there? The vocoder they have just sounds good with everything you put on it, especially in like the equalizer mode. All the built-ins. There's a new convolution reverb that works now. That's amazing. I love that. You can like record an impulse in and it just like a clap sound, and it'll process it in the convolution engine, and so you can have your sound playing in any space.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
That's awesome.
It's wonderful.
What about the sampler actually? Because like on the latest track, just so you know, I believe you're sampling a vocal chop, right?
Yeah, that's one of my vocal chops. I use a lot of my own vocals to avoid royalties, and just because it's easier to find the chops. Like if there's a specific chop you want, you could spend hours searching for it in an acapella thing. You could just record it yourself. I prefer to record it myself. It's faster for a creative process. But the sampler I prefer is NN19. I don't like the big one. I just like the simplicity of NN19, and you can like adjust the sample timing, and there's an easy notch filter for like respaces if I ever get fancy and start doing like neuro stuff.
Sure.
Which I've experimented with in the past and not too good at it, but that's like how I started with synthesis, so
definitely
it's a good foundation.
Neuro bass is like the king in terms of sound design and perfecting your sound design in that sense. Definitely. Okay, so what are you currently working on?
Well, let's see, actually.
Pulling up the Reason projects.
Got my song a day thing. I have a few things that are pretty similar to, more similar to like Life Goes On. They're like harder hitting stuff with cool like jazz interludes. I have some weird future stuff that you might find out of like a selection or like a flow-fi, something like that. Really kind of like spacey future tracks with a lot of sort of alternative underground beat influence. It's interesting. I'm working on a track with Imaginate at the moment, which is really, it's a really hype song. It's fun. It's got a lot of energy. He's really good at synthesis and stuff, and so it's got some really cool sounds in it.
I'm excited for that one, man.
It should be fun.
That one is
pretty cool.
Spoiler alert, banger on its way.
It's a banger.
It is definitely a banger. Okay, I like that, man. So what should people be on the lookout for the coming months?
In the coming months, probably an EP from soupandreas myself. the track with Imaginate, I think it's going to be in his EP, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So look out for me on his EP. And then new singles out now, just so you know. Take a listen wherever you can hear it. And then
Everywhere.
some new stuff in the coming months.
Hell yes.
Don't want to spoil too much, but there's a lot coming. So get ready.
Keep your eyes peeled. So actually, before we jump into the fan questions, which is obviously the most exciting part, what is the dream for soupandreas? Where do you hope to take this and be in 5 years, let's say?
In 5 years, I haven't thought that far ahead, man. I've thought as far as 1 year ahead.
Okay.
For 1 year, like this time next year, I hope to be, because I'll be out of high school, I'll be focusing on this full time, at least for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll be off in music school, training technology chops or composition chops, production chops, whatever I can. But I think I'll be with this for a long time. So soupandreas is going to be a big part of my life for a while now.
Boom. I love it, man. I love it. So, fans of soupandreas, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So, stick around.
Here I am.
All right. So, on that note, let's jump to the fan questions. We got to give a shout out to Mallive for this one. His consistency in these questions is real. Chaboy Mallive.
Chaboy Mallive. Shout outs. So, what type of soup best describes your production process? Funny story. My parents actually got me my sister. She got me a soup can after one of my performances and wrote Andreas under the soup thing. So it was like a soup Andreas. That's still sitting on the counter somewhere. And keep it up there as a memento of that wonderful, wonderful night. But I'd have to go with like a chili or something, just like a stew. It's like a chef stew with like whatever he finds in the kitchen. It looks good, so I can't like condone it to a certain formula. It's just whatever sounds good, man.
Boom.
Or whatever tastes good, I guess.
No deep analogy there.
No deep analogy, just whatever works.
I like it, man. Just like a good old chili stew, right?
Chili stew.
Chili stew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like a good old chili stew.
Good old stew. Shout outs to Courtney. Next question. What was your inspiration behind Just So You Know?
It was one of my less deep tracks. It's got a lot of energy. Most of that energy came from all the caffeine I'd had at that point. I don't know. It's not a really deep one. And it came from that guitar lick, the main guitar lick, which is a few parts layered over. I was just jamming on the guitar, and then I drew inspiration from that at that point, and it all kind of developed itself over a pretty short period. It was one of my faster moving tracks, mostly because of how the energy just worked. That all kind of came together within the space of a few days, and it was just sort of drawn by the energy that I had like in myself, which is, I guess, partly attributed to the caffeine that I was drinking at the time.
What was the caffeine run?
I just had a lot of drink. Yeah, caffeine run, exactly. Like 6 liters of Diet Coke or something.
Damn.
It was ridiculous.
Damn.
It's because Giannis here was like, hey, you got the track done?
Yeah.
I just need it in a few days. And I was like, okay, let me just do a track then.
Yeah.
And so I did. It worked out.
Actually, you wrote the track in 2 days, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Plow. That is awesome. That is.
Some of them, some of the songs on my profile took like months and months to write, and then this one just took a few days. I don't know how that works.
See, that's the thing, man.
Some
like,
things just happen.
I feel like the tracks that happen in like a day or two are like they just happen naturally, and they tend to be like the tracks that do the best as well. It's like
they have the most natural flow.
Yeah, exactly.
None of it is forced. It just happens.
Yeah,
it's great.
That is the way it should happen. Okay, last question. A bit of quite an intricate question, I would say. And you can answer this in whatever way you find best fit. How many memes could a meme if future society? Boom.
First of all, shout out Henry White if you're listening to this. Future Funk is best. Eridus is best grill. Yumi Rose is second best grill. Yeah, I don't really know how else to describe it. It's just kind of, it's the way of life.
It's intriguing.
If you live that aesthetic life, then you will be the memeiest streamer that ever dreamed. You know what I mean?
I feel you, man. I that's what I live by. So, you know.
Okay, it's good. Yeah, it's good to hear.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So everyone listening, take note. Take note. Okay, man. Let's wrap this up. Why don't you round this off by sort of giving a message to all the people listening and all your fans and all your supporters?
Thanks for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Look out for more soupandreas in the future.
Love and peace.
Love and peace always. See y'all later.
song of a long lost world. Sing for the darkened days to come. I know it's our destiny to face our conscious minds, searching halls of time to find the secrets that left behind. But all I can see is you. You're dancing in the
Why is it that we both get shut up when we know we should? Keep the fire burning for deep desire to be understood. Lurking, hurting on purpose, are we aiming to cut as deep as we can? No wonder the last time I ran, trying to get myself calm again. And here I am, back with the same pain. I try to land and get my thoughts together, gasp of air to gain the upper hand. Goddamn. And I scram, now is that real love? Adrenaline rush that come through my abdomen. Instead of being calm, so we both can accept it. Put it in a perspective, it's like we're attracted to rejection. I mean, there's no way to be more subjective. Mind blown, completely erratic. And it's maddening, cause we both schemes, then a robber had it. And I can't bear taking this any longer. Cause you're a fanatic, making me a fanatic. It's like I'm zoning on. I kept digging in, and you would never be listening. The foundation's built on fiction, contradictive, it's restrictive, admitted. As things shifted through the years, I've seen these parallels. We ain't going well, now everything's turned around as I'm on this Ferris wheel, Ferris wheel. I'm stuck on this Ferris wheel, and I can't stop this, and I can't stop it, and I can't stop it. And I can't bear taking this any longer. Cause you're a fanatic, making me a fanatic.